Margaret, is the sound okay? Can you hear it? Can you hear everybody? Wonderful. Good morning. Thanks for being here in the rain. I hope the traffic wasn't too bad. We have the Wilmington Fire Department here with us this morning. This is Wendy, and Wendy is going to talk to us. October is National Fire Safety Month, I believe. So she's going to give us a presentation and answer any questions you have. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I feel like I should sing some rock and roll with this microphone situation. I love it, love it. I have passed out to you a jar opener from the Wilmington Fire Department. It's a reminder to stay with what you're cooking. On top of that jar opener, just a quick reminder to stick with what you're cooking. Do not walk away from what is on the stove top. But also, I have shared a piece of paper with you that's got two sides, and in a few moments, I'll tell you exactly what that's about. But like Rachel said, my name is Wendy. I recognize your faces. The Wilmington Fire Department is especially good at outreach when it comes to all of the places in our city, whether it's kids or older adults or college students. We are super proud to always find ourselves in places where people are, where our residents are, so we can talk about safety. And like Rachel said, also, this is Fire Prevention Week, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So look at this quick video. This is very interesting to me. I hope that you'll all be able to see it. But the week of Fire Prevention Week that we are in right now always touches October 9th. And that's because Fire Prevention Week commemorates the Great Chicago Fire. Have you heard of the Great Chicago Fire before? Okay, let's see if you can hear this. I hope you can. Okay, you want to just pause?
Yeah, or we can play it and just talk through it. See what I mean?
So it doesn't seem like the sound is working, so I'm going to talk you through this. So let's look at this video. That's a picture of a river rushing past a brick building, right? So long ago, most things in most cities in America were made of wood. In Chicago, there's no sound for the video. The video has no sound, just the pictures. Long ago, cities were made of wood. In Chicago, in the late 1800s, not only were the buildings made of wood, but the sidewalks were made of wood, and the streets had sawdust on them to keep the dust down. And other cities around the world and country were the same, lots and lots of wood. But that meant that there was lots and lots of fire also, right? So the Great Chicago Fire was in the late 1800s, and nobody knows exactly what started it. In fact, some people think that it started because a cow kicked over a lantern. But look at these images of fire sweeping through the wooden city of Chicago. There's a wooden sidewalk, and people are escaping like crazy. Buildings are burning down, people are moving. Look at this dark area, shows how much of the city of Chicago was burnt by fire during the Great Chicago Fire. Coming from the Great Chicago Fire were lots of rules about building construction and how to keep people safer by building out of different materials. Instead of building in wood, the country started to build, and the world started to build out of stone and brick and mortar, right? So what we see today are stone and brick and mortar buildings, but also life safety systems built in, like these sprinklers that are in this room, and the exit signs, and the smoke alarms and alarm systems that are in our houses, right? So from great tragedy with fire come all of these new advances in keeping ourselves safe, right? So that's why this week and this month really are labeled Fire Prevention Month, thinking back to the Great Chicago Fire. Can y'all see the screen up here? I'm gonna tell you what it says. You ready? Wilmington, our city, has 3 major problems when it comes to fire: cooking, smoking, and outside fires. Did you know that in our city, there is no outdoor burning? Like no trash burning, no campfires, no marshmallow toasting inside the city of Wilmington, right? It's not allowed because of how close we are together. Right? Some people still do it, it's true. Did you know that if you get caught burning outside, you can get a ticket? Yes, the firefighters stay busy giving tickets at this time of the year. But cooking and smoking are 2 big fire problems that we have in Wilmington. Cooking is the #1 cause of fires in people's houses, and listen, smoking is the #1 reason people die in fires, because most often it's happening overnight. I didn't say hi to my friends on Zoom. Hello, Zoom friends. Okay, this slide, and it's far away, but let me tell you, this slide has to do with what we have inside our houses. We talked about the Great Chicago Fire and how the outside of buildings, right, moved from lots of wood to lots of brick and stone and mortar, right? Things that could resist fire. But what's happened is inside, and this room is an excellent example, inside our houses, we have started to fill the space with synthetic things. Things that are not real wood, things that are not made of cotton, right? Think about rugs. Rarely do we ever see a real cotton or a real wool or a real silk rug anymore. Mostly it's made of plastics, right? Same thing with the tables in front of you. There's wood in there somewhere, but it's covered with a plastic on top, right? The trouble with this is that these fires, if someone has a fire in their house with all this kind of synthetic furniture in it, it's burning hotter and it's burning faster, which means that you have to get out fast. And it means that the firefighters have a more dangerous job. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to let Rachel click this, and I want to show you, if you can see, the left side of the screen. These are 2 rooms that are almost exactly the same. The left side of the screen has real things in it, like the furniture we used to have in our houses, like wood and cotton. The other side, the right side, has synthetics, like the plastics. So there's a tiny fire that's being started. The left is natural, the right is synthetic. There's a tiny fire that's started by the blanket on the sofa. You can see it right here. You see this tiny fire? There's also a fire started over here. The natural fire, the old-fashioned furnitures, right, seem to be growing very quickly. Can you see? I know it's so far away, I'm sorry. What's happening in this room, in the room filled with plastics? Do you see the smoke?
Smoke. Mm-hmm.
Can you see on the plastic side, the smoke is growing quickly? That's the dangerous part for us. And the reason I wanted to share this with you is to show you that if there's a fire in your house, you've got to move quickly, right? You got to get out fast. Look at that smoke.
2 minutes, they say.
2 minutes or less is exactly right. Look at the synthetic side now, the plastic side now. fires are burning hotter and faster inside of people's homes. So that's why we've got to be really prepared. That's why it's important that we have a smoke alarm. Does everybody in this room have smoke alarms in their house? Okay, if you live in an apartment complex, where there's someone managing, if you're paying rent somewhere, it is the landlord's job to make sure that you have working smoke alarms. And you can always call me or call the fire department if you're not sure if your smoke alarms work, right?
Right.
The fact that these fires are moving so quickly now because of the contents of our homes means we have to be prepared. How can you tell if the smoke alarm works? So yeah, we can reach up with a broom and test with the button to make sure that it sounds. The smoke alarm sound is 3 beeps, right? Beep, beep, beep. So you're reaching up with a broom, and if you can't do it, then we can certainly come and help. That's part of the daily duty that we have. Ready, Rachel?
Yes.
Go ahead. Okay. So not only does WFD, Wilmington Fire Department, worry about fires, you are lucky to live in a city where the fire department calls itself an all-hazard department. That means that the firefighters respond to a variety of calls. You've probably seen them near car crashes on the roadway, right? That's because the firefighters are all EMTs. They all know a little bit about medical emergencies. So they respond to medical emergencies and car crashes. And it's hard to see, so I'll just talk through. But overdose is a regular thing that our firefighters go to, and so are motor vehicle collisions. On the paper that's in front of you, one of the sides of the paper has a list of all the places you can go to drop off your unused or your expired medicines. It's important to get medicines that we don't need anymore out of our houses so that there aren't any accidents or so that nobody's taking them from you and using them inappropriately, right? So we got to work together for overdose. The firefighters respond to overdoses on a very regular basis. The same with car crashes, right? So in my mind, we went on the big screen.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. So two other reasons that the firefighters leave their station. One has to do with citizen assist. That means for like falling. If you fall and the WFD comes to help lift you back up, right? We want to help you find resources so that you don't fall. We'll come to you as many times as you need us, right? But we'd rather you have the grab bars installed or put the non-slip mats down, right? So you don't fall at all. So we have a list of resources, and I know that this wonderful senior resource center does too, of all the ways to help keep you on your feet. WFD will come and lift you up if you need it, but we'd rather you stay on your feet because we know that's the best case scenario, right? Yes, ma'am.
How do you call the fire department to do that? Because you do 911 and the ambulance comes. But you don't need the ambulance, you just need the fire department to pick you up. So how would you just get the fire department's number or call them?
No, 911 is how the fire department responds to you for any sort of emergency. And you being stuck in a chair or stuck on the ground is considered an emergency.
Okay, but usually the ambulance comes.
That's not necessarily true.
Oh,
The fire department is spread out around the city in a very even way. You may have heard about some fire stations in our city closing and new ones opening. That's because we rotate around to where the people are, right? We make ourselves fast. We put the stations where we can be the fastest responders. And sometimes an ambulance might be all the way at Carolina Beach, but we need them right here. but the firefighters are close. So the firefighters will come first and hold down the fort until the ambulance gets here. If you think about what the firefighters do, they have the big truck, right? They have lots of skill, but they can't move you anywhere. They can't take you to the hospital because they don't have room in the truck, right? You have to wait for the ambulance. So the firefighters will come quickly. They will help you with whatever's, happening. And then if you need to be moved to the hospital or need another level of care, the ambulance will come also. Yeah, so sometimes it's both departments or both organizations that come, sometimes just one.
Why do they both come then? Oh, because you told us before that they're experienced.
Correct, yes, yes, ma'am.
It's true, but I saw that yesterday in front of my house, two guys, on the dirt bike, and one of them went in the air, and the other was speed. But, the fire truck,
Right, so for those of you that couldn't hear, this is very interesting. This young lady said that there was a dirt bike accident in her area, in her neighborhood, on her street yesterday. And the firefighters did come first and then came the ambulance, right? Probably the person was hurt more significantly than the firefighters, could take care of on their own. So they did call for 911, or they did call for the ambulance, or the ambulance was on the way and the firemen were just there taking care of business until the ambulance could arrive. Okay, so listen, important information. Back to thinking about fires and back to thinking about why to call 911. If your smoke alarm is chirping, like a bird or a cricket when the battery is dying, that's not why you call 911. That's why you call me or one of the fire stations directly. If you have an emergency, if you need help right away, that's a 911 call, right? But the chirping battery of your smoke alarm, not an emergency. Chirping battery in your smoke alarm means it's bothering you at night and it is so annoying, but we can fix it in the morning, right? Not an emergency. Did you know that smoke alarms live only about 10 years? So if you have changed the batteries in your smoke alarm and it's still making noise, it might mean that we need a new smoke alarm. And Wilmington Fire has a large stash of smoke alarms that we can come and install in your house for free. We know that because the fires are burning hot and fast, that we've got to give you those warning signals early to get out. So if you're not sure about your smoke alarms, we can definitely help you with that. Yes.
Does it mean it needs a battery when it's chirping?
It means it needs a battery, or it means you need a new smoke alarm, depending on how old the smoke alarm is. Yep. 10 years is the length of time.
They came to my house, and it was funny because the whole big fire truck,
They came to my house one day and to check my alarms, and I thought they were just gonna have like one person, and they came with the whole fire truck, and there were 8 firemen. So one did the smoke alarm, one did the other alarm, whatever it is, And I was like so bowled over, like 8 people, 8 men in my house to change the fire.
You make them a snack?
That's so funny. So it's true, when the firefighters get to work in the morning, and they're not always men. We have some females, some really awesome women firefighters as well. So you're lucky you've got a whole
It was one lady.
group. There you go. So when they come to work in the morning, they clock in at 7:30 and they live together like a family for the whole 24 hours. So if you need a smoke alarm, they're all coming. They won't turn their sirens and their lights on unless it's an emergency, but they are all sticking together. And I know sometimes that draws attention and all the nosy neighbors want to know what's happening. Why is there a firefighter at your house, right?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Yes, just say you invited them over for cookies or something, right? Okay, ready? Okay. This is my reminder slide. We're getting into the fall season. Heater fires will start picking up now as people start to turn their heaters on and using space heaters. If you're gonna use a space heater, that's awesome, right? But make sure that there's a large space, like 3 feet around that space heater. And also unplug it when you're not using it. Unplug everything when you're not using it. Your coffee pot, when you leave in the morning, unplug it. Just eliminates the possibility of anything bad happening, right? The toaster oven, unplug it when you're not using it. The space heater, definitely unplug it when you're not using it. The microwave, I leave my microwave plugged in, but you know why? Because it's the one that lives above the stove and I don't even know where the plug is, right? Right? So if it's out of the way, if it's not, if it's connected deeply like your stove or your oven, I wouldn't worry about unplugging. But the little things that you can definitely reach and unplug, especially those space heaters, do it, reduce the risk, right? I do know a few years ago, there was a fire. It was on the corner of Princess Place and maybe 23rd or 30th Street, somewhere in that window. There was a fire because of a space heater. The space heater was plugged in. The room was unoccupied. No one lived in this room, but the homeowner opened the door to go into the room for something. And when the door was opened, it bumped the on switch of the heater and turned the heater on. So the heater just kept heating and heating and heating and nobody even knew it was on, right? That's why if you unplug, it reduces the risk altogether of any accidents happening, right? Okay. That's my phone. I'm sorry, I left it on so I can have my. Ask me again. Because anything that gets hot can cause a fire. So it is my suggestion to you that anything connected to electricity that you're using on a regular basis, right? Or that's my talking line.
Oh, you're fine. Keep
Anything
going.
that you're using, you can unplug just to eliminate any sort of risk of a fire happening. That was my alarm to tell me to stop talking. So that's recommended, just unplug everything you can get you can easily get to. Think about that toaster oven. If there's a little chrome in there and it's still heating and it's still burning by the time you get home, it's gonna be a big fire. All right, tell me what you need to know from me. What do you need to know about the fire department or the services that we provide you? Yes, ma'am. Check your smoke alarm. Okay.
And the landlord is putting the new one up here, and at 9:10, and don't, but I have a prop on the store. And my friend had a prop in the store, and I know the alarm didn't go off, but I saw the smoke.
So you think that it was smoked up enough that the alarm should have sounded, but it didn't? Okay. Okay. I'll come to you, I'll stop by everybody's table and get your address and your phone number. And if you're interested in having the fire department come and check your alarms, we're happy to do that. You know what else we do? We're happy to help you do like a quick home safety survey. Just make sure that you have a clear path to the exit, right? The smoke alarm sounds to tell you, hey, it's time to get out right now, but you gotta have a clear path to the exit to get there, right? In buildings like this, we have these neat signs that tell you where the exits are, but at home, we don't have those. It's up to you, right? So clear the path and get out quickly. Does anyone have family members living with them, like children that are living with them or staying with them pretty regularly? It would be important to talk to young people about how to get out fast in case of a fire, right? At school, they're having fire drills, but at home, we never practice, and we should be. We should know where we're going if there's a fire. Was it surprising to you to learn today that fires inside people's houses are burning faster because of the materials that we're using? I want you to think about your parents' and your grandparents' houses truthfully. Nothing in there but wood and cotton or wool, right?
Right.
Draperies made of 100% cotton, curtains made of cotton. Now, if you go to any department store, you're buying curtains that are not made of only cotton, right? Things are burning faster, which means we have to be ready. We have to be prepared just in case, right? Eliminate all risks, unplug, clear the path, make sure we have working alarms. And just know that if you need some help, 911 is your right call. Do you have pens and pencils in front of you? Would you like for me to call out my phone number to you? I'll visit each of the tables as well, but just in case, let me give you my phone number. You can write it down. Yes, ma'am. Okay, did you ask for So I'm not sure I understand, I'm sorry. Okay. Shrubberies. That's very interesting. The question has to do with shrubberies and guidelines about, shrubs covering doorways or windows. If you live in a place that you can't see out your window, if the shrubs or the trees or the bushes are preventing you from seeing daylight, right? Then you should ask, please trim these back. I need to know 2 ways out. The first way is my door. The second way is this window right here. And if I can't get out, it's bad. It's bad if I can't get out. So have them trim the shrubberies, have them, the other thing about bushes and shrubberies is can we see your address? An address out front of your house should be very clear to see. And sometimes we forget that the bushes are growing up above, and just a quick little trim of the hedges or the bushes or the tree branches might reveal your address and make it easier for us to get to you quickly, right? Very good questions. Anybody else?
What was your phone number?
Oh, my phone number officially is 910. I'll come to each table too. 910-342-2731. 342-2731. And my name is Wendy. And I'm happy to get you set up with whatever it is that you need to keep you safe in your home. The page that's in front of you that has the medicine disposal locations, the other side has a program from the hospital that's about diabetes education. Like I said, the firefighters come to a lot of different call types, right? And one of them has to do with regular fainting, like people that are fainting or falling out, which occasionally has to do with sugar, right? Blood sugar. So this is, or drugs, yep, we talked about the overdose. So this is a program that's being put on by the hospital, and I thought since I was coming, I would share it with you today. It's maybe something you already know about. But we are trying to keep people safe and happy in their houses. And if the firefighters don't need to leave for emergencies, that technically means everybody's safe in their homes, right? Safe moving around the city. So safe you means safe firefighters. All right, I'll visit each of your tables right now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I can still hear you. I don't know what happened with it. Give it a try. Let's see if I can hear you.
Good morning.
Morning, good morning.
There you are. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Well, thanks for joining. I'm glad to see both of you. Mr. George, where were you yesterday?
Well, I had taken that vaccine
Uh-huh.
and I didn't, my head wasn't right yesterday.
Okay, well,
Oh.
I sure did miss you.
And so I decided I didn't want to drive out there with a messed up head.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Better safe. I hope you're feeling better. But it was,
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, and it was like, disappointed.
Right.
Well, don't
Rachel-
worry. And I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if Vicki told you guys yesterday, Barbara, but in November at your meeting, Kelly and I will be coming again. And we're going to be doing a tie-dye mask activity with you all. Spend some time. So I'll hopefully see you then. We'll all be tie-dyeing masks together. So
Okay.
Okay.
that'll be fun. But do you guys have any questions for Wendy? Anything you'd like more information on?
I have a question for you, Rachel. Will Kelly call me when I need to go get the shot or?
So you can come anytime on that afternoon from 1 to
Okay.
4:30. You don't have a time slot. They just want to know
Okay.
how many people are gonna be there so they have the right number of doses.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
Mr. George, do you want to come as well and get a flu shot? We're doing a free flu vaccine.
I had one 2 weeks ago.
Perfect.
Okay,
Good
Yeah,
deal.
I went to my doctor a couple of weeks ago and she talked me into getting my first.
First one ever. Oh my
oh my
goodness.
goodness, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's so good to see you guys. It was nice to see you in person yesterday, Miss Barbara, and of course I missed you.
Yes.
Give me a call if you need anything, and I will see you guys next week, and we'll have another speaker.
All righty.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.